An American insisted the train conductor was scamming him because his ticket said second class, and he paid full price. He demanded to be moved to first class for free, since there's no such thing as second-class citizens in America. That's the level of detail I track in every story, not the surface level. Americans abroad jokes, but the psychology behind them. If you value that kind of depth, this is where you belong. When the conductor explained it's just seating categories, he accused the entire rail system of promoting classism. He tried to report it to the American embassy as discrimination. The conductor just pointed to his seat. A woman bought a ticket from Paris to Amsterdam, but got angry when the train stopped in Brussels. She thought direct train meant it wouldn't stop anywhere, like a non-stop flight. When people got off in Brussels, she yelled at them for breaking the rules. She demanded the conductor lock the doors and refused to let anyone on or off until Amsterdam. She called the stops illegal interruptions of her travel experience. Most channels would stop at the absurdity. I use it to decode how cultures process rules and entitlement differently. If that distinction clicks with you, you're already the kind of person who subscribes here. A man brought 4 full-size suitcases on a regional train and couldn't understand why there was no baggage check. He stood in the aisle, blocking everyone, waiting for a porter to take his bags. When told to put them in the overhead racks himself, he said that's a safety hazard, and he needed airline-style checked baggage service. He asked where the luggage carousel would be at his destination. He held up boarding for 6 minutes. A tourist tried to pay the train conductor in cash during the journey because she thought you buy tickets on board like a bus. When told she needed to purchase before boarding, she said this was a tourist trap designed to confuse Americans. She offered to Venmo him right there. She got fined 40 euros and said she'd be contacting her congressman. The conductor had heard this 12 times that month. An American dad thought the quiet car meant the train itself would be silent, with no engine noise. He kept pressing the call button, asking them to fix the loud mechanical sounds. When passengers shushed him for talking, he got offended and said he paid for a quiet car, so he should be able to complain about the noise. He escalated to demanding a refund for false advertising. His kids were mortified. A couple bought tickets for reservable seats, but sat in unreserved seats because they looked nicer. When the actual ticket holders arrived, they refused to move, saying they'd already settled in, and possession is 9/10 of the law. They suggested the other passengers find different seats since the train was America-sized and had plenty of room. Security had to escort them. They left a 1-star review about European hospitality. A woman asked the conductor why there were no cup holders, then proceeded to balance her Starbucks venti on the fold-down tray. When the train went around a curve and it spilled, she demanded the rail company pay for her dry cleaning. She said American trains would never have curves that sharp. The conductor informed her she was on a train going through the Alps. She said that was poor route planning. An American thought the train would have Wi-Fi included, like on airplanes. When told it cost money, he accused the rail company of nickel and diming passengers. He tried to negotiate a discount since he was only going 2 stops. He then asked if he could just connect to the engineer's personal hotspot instead. He ended up spending 30 euros on Wi-Fi for a 40-minute ride. He said it was a scam the whole time. A man got angry that the train bathroom had a button to flush instead of an automatic sensor. He stood there for 3 minutes waiting for it to auto-flush, then left without flushing. When another passenger knocked and explained the button, he came back and said this was backward European technology. He wrote a detailed Facebook post about how America is 50 years ahead in toilet innovation. The post got 4 likes from his family. A tourist bought a ticket from Munich to Venice, but didn't realize she had to change trains in Verona. When the conductor told her to get off, she refused and said she paid for Munich to Venice, not Munich to Verona to Venice. She accused them of trying to strand her in a random city. She sat down and locked her arms around the seat. Police had to remove her. She missed her connection and had to buy a new ticket. An American asked why there was no food car and got upset when told to bring his own food or buy from the platform. He said that in America, trains have full dining cars with waiters. When informed this was a regional train, not a long-distance one, he said the distinction was classist, and all trains should have equal amenities. He tried to order Uber Eats to a moving train. The driver called him 3 times, very confused. A woman thought the train ticket included hotel-style luggage service at her destination. She waited at the platform for 20 minutes for someone to bring her bags to a taxi. When no one came, she went back and found her bags still on the train, which had already left for the next city. She had to file a lost luggage claim and take a train back to retrieve them. She blamed European inefficiency. Her bags went to Stuttgart. A man tried to bring his electric scooter onto a packed intercity train during rush hour. When told it wasn't allowed, he said it was his medical mobility device and they were discriminating. The conductor asked for documentation. He said his doctor was in America and couldn't fax it over right now. He eventually left it on the platform and posted about European disability discrimination. Someone stole the scooter 30 minutes later. An American bought a ticket, but didn't validate it at the machine before boarding. When the conductor fined her, she said, "That's entrapment, because the validation machines aren't clearly labeled in English." She demanded they install English instructions on every machine in Europe for American tourists. She said the fine was basically theft, and she'd be disputing it with her credit card company. The conductor said, "Okay," and kept writing the ticket. A tourist thought the train car numbers were suggestions, not assigned seats. He sat in first class with a second-class ticket because first class looked empty enough. When asked to move, he said he'd already been sitting there for 10 minutes and had established residency. He cited squatters' rights. The conductor just stared at him until he moved. He muttered about communist seating policies the entire time. A woman brought a full rotisserie chicken onto the train and got upset when people complained about the smell. She said this was her lunch, and in America, you're allowed to eat on trains. When told you can eat on European trains too, just not pungent hot food in enclosed spaces, she said that was food discrimination. She wrapped it in a plastic bag, which made it worse. Everyone in the car moved to different seats. An American tried to board the train with a ticket for the next day. When stopped, he insisted the date was just a suggestion, and trains run all day anyway. He said he paid for the route, not the specific time. When told tickets are time-specific, he accused the system of being inflexible compared to American trains where you can board anytime. The ticket agent explained, "That's not how American trains work either." He bought a new ticket while grumbling. A man asked the conductor how fast the train was going in miles per hour. When told kilometers per hour, he said that was needlessly complicated and asked them to convert it for him every 5 minutes. He then complained the train was going too slow, not realizing 200 km/h is 100 feet, 24 meters. He kept asking why European trains aren't as fast as American trains. The conductor didn't have the heart to explain, America barely has high-speed rail. A tourist thought the no smoking sign only applied to cigarettes, so she vaped constantly in her seat. When confronted, she said, "Vaping isn't smoking," and the sign was misleading. She demanded they update all signage to specifically mention vaping. When told to stop anyway, she moved to the bathroom and set off the smoke detector. The train made an emergency stop. She got a €500 fine and yelled about freedom the entire time. An American bought a bike ticket, but thought it meant the train would have a bike rack like a bus. When told to bring the bike into the train car, he said that was unsanitary and unsafe. He tried to leave his bike on the platform and pick it up on the return trip. The station manager said absolutely not. He ended up carrying his bike through 5 cars to the bike area, hitting 17 people with the handlebars. He left an angry review about lack of bike infrastructure. A woman asked why there were no outlets at every seat and got angry when told only some seats had them. She said her phone was at 6%, and this was an emergency. She tried to negotiate switching seats with someone in a seat with an outlet, offering them €5. When declined, she accused Europeans of being unhelpful to tourists. She spent the rest of the trip asking every passenger if she could charge her phone on their outlet. Her phone died after 30 minutes. A man brought a 72-ounce gas station soda cup onto the train and couldn't find a place big enough to set it down. He tried to wedge it into the seat pocket, which ripped the fabric. When told he'd have to pay for damages, he said the seats were clearly not designed for American-sized beverages, and that was discrimination. He tried to sue for inadequate cup holder infrastructure. The rail company sent him a bill for €40. He framed it as a joke. I unpack these stories every week, not for clicks, but because decoding this gap between how Americans see the world and how the world sees them, it's endlessly revealing. If you want to stay 3 steps ahead of the algorithm's noise, lock in now. A tourist got on a train to Bruges, but pronounced it Bruges and insisted that was correct. When a Belgian passenger politely corrected her, she said she learned the pronunciation from a movie, and movies don't lie. She got off at the wrong stop because she couldn't understand the announcement for Brugge. She took a taxi back and blamed European pronunciation inconsistency. The taxi driver charged her €50. She tipped €2 and thought she was being generous. An American thought the electrical outlets on the train would work with his American plugs without an adapter. He tried to force it in anyway and nearly broke the socket. When it didn't fit, he accused the train of having outdated electrical systems. He asked the conductor if they had any American outlets available. The conductor said no, this is Europe. He spent 45 minutes trying to find someone with an adapter before buying one at the station for €15.